Hello and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve podcast. My guest today is an adjunct lecturer at the City University of New York. He is the creator of FanForeSight. We'll be discussing a lot of things today. His name is Christian Martinez. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thanks so much for having me. I'm doing great so far.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here, man. Yeah, been looking forward to this show. I just look forward to every single podcast, man. I
Mhm.
think it's weird. The longer I do this, the more grateful I am, which is interesting. I don't know what that means, but probably something important. So
I actually
let's
really liked your
go on.
most recent one, the onions one. I know it's not part of your podcast per se, but I was listening to it, and you got me with like it wasn't clickbait, but I always think about Shrek. Ogres are like onions. I don't know if you've ever seen Shrek,
Layers.
and yeah. So, and I always think about that, right? And like Shrek is one of my top movies of all time. New York Times just asked everybody if they could put like their top 10. I had to put Shrek in it. So it
Dude,
was really resonating when you were saying, and ogres are like onions, humans are like onions.
it's funny. Like I this year has been maybe like the toughest year of my life for quite some time. And I started doing these videos like a month back where I just started like I, there's this quote book I have where I write down quotes I
Hmm.
see or stuff that resonates or stuff I learn, and I write it down. And sometimes I'll do a video about it, share my stories and all that jazz. And I don't know, like something something clicked recently, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like a realization that I can finally talk and that and make it interesting and make it something that people might want to actually listen to because
Hmm.
it's a lot of it comes down to like the presentation of how you do things
Hmm.
and like letting go, not worrying so much if something is good or bad, but rather like does it have heart? Does it have soul? Does it connect with people, inspire people? I don't know, better
Yeah.
people's lives, something like that. And so I just started recording these videos when I had the feeling. It's a bit like writing a
Hmm.
song. Like you do it when it feels right. And then yeah, I don't know. For some reason, people seem to dig them. And I'm good at talking. Dude,
300
shut up.
episodes in, you should be.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's something I got criticized for in the beginning was talking too much. And I was like, rah, on my own show, is that a bad thing? And then I was like, well, if you have guests, you got to make it about your guest. But why can't you have a conversation with your guest? Why not?
I agree. Actually, in the 2005 Asher video, you speak about this directly. He apologizes for talking, and you're like, "Hey, bro, this is a podcast. We're supposed to talk."
Yeah, that broke me up, man. I really hope that show helped that dude. I feel like
Yeah.
he needs guy needs confidence, man. I've been there.
Yeah.
When life beats you up, breaks you down, and you find yourself like apologetic for just existing,
Hmm.
like it's weird. I've been there, man. I think it's a trauma thing, but like yeah, like when I see because he's like a kid as well, I just wanted to like
Yeah.
just grab him and hug him and tell him hey,
Just
it's
give
gonna
him a
be
big
okay.
hug.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay, dude. I wish someone had done that when I was younger. I felt so lost at his age. I was a mess, and now I'm a bit older, seasoned, and I think I understand now why people kind of just develop this sense of humor where you just laugh at life, you know, because it's all just one big silly game, and you get to a point where you're like, I'm just not giving you any more of my energy. I'll put my
Yeah.
energy into things that matter, like love
Hmm.
and things I believe in, but everything else can just do one. I don't know.
And I agree with this. And there's intent behind, like if you have good intent behind doing things, and that has to be taken into consideration too.
I think so as well. And that brings me to like my first question to build
Please.
this, yeah, to get it back to you. So, I feel like this business you've created is based on exactly that. So you are the founder and creator of FanForeSight,
Yeah.
the fan engagement platform for live events. Where does this idea come from? Because I've seen people's attempts at trying to bring people in, and a lot of it for events, to kind of create like a not necessarily a platform, but like a space where people can communicate surrounding an event or something like that. And a lot of the time it falls flat because people want to just kind of do their own thing elsewhere, or
Mhm.
they end up being asked to pay to do things, which I think is silly. Unless there's some incentive to do so, obviously.
Mhm.
But where does the idea come from this? What was the ethos behind it?
So if I'm trying to date it back to maybe the as far back as I can without actually thinking, oh, this is going to be something, is really that I do enjoy gambling, and not the type of gambling that's like, let me throw my life savings or throw the house on, but fun little prop bets. So like back in the day, I'm watching the NBA finals with some friends. And for fun, we throw a bet like on who we think is going to score the first basket, right? A dollar wins $8 or something like that. So you take $10, you throw it on 10 different prop bets, throw a dollar here, dollar there. You're with your boys, you're having fun. And then it makes the entire space of not only where you are with your friends, but also the actual event more fun. And that's from my personal experience. So with a little amount of money, you can really transform the game. And so I thought about doing this and pairing my love of not only sports, but also analytics, and most importantly, bringing people together. I do think I sway more towards community engagement to see how can I pair a bunch of the things that I not only like, but am good at and bring them out. So the first time I did this was for the Super Bowl last year. I have recently been reconnecting with a bunch of family from all across the country. I've got family everywhere. So I was like, oh, like how can I do something fun to bring people together for one of the biggest events? And so I did it for the Super Bowl. So with my family, we all threw like $10 in just for fun. And we answered 25 questions about the Super Bowl. So it was like, which team's going to score first? Will the player that scores a touchdown first jerseys be odd or even? What color will the Gatorade be? Will Travis Kelsey propose to Taylor Swift? So the goal of any and all of the questions that I provide is trying to be somewhat fluid in that if you've never watched the event that you're at, you can have fun. And if you are a diehard fan, you can also have fun. So I did this for 25 questions and that was it.
Yeah, it sounds like somewhere in between like gambling meets like a quiz kind of thing, which
Yeah,
is kind
yeah.
of cool.
Hmm.
Um, how long has the platform been out now, roughly? Because I know you got
So
some news articles and some buzz
yeah,
for it, stuff like that. So that's good. But like,
yeah. So I did the one with my family and that was just like family fun. We all threw like a $5. And then I was thinking, and I was like, like, what if I could take this to more of a professional setting? So I just literally went into a few sports bars and I was like, hey, I'm Christian. I have an idea that I think would be fun for anyone that's watching any of the games that you host. So I like the UFC. I don't know if you are into MMA or anything like that.
that more of a
Yeah, but
wrestling guy, but yeah, it's that.
fair. I just went on the UFC website and found all the places that were playing the UFC cards in my neighborhood. So I went to the bars and was like, "Hey, I got this idea." And so it really started in early this year, probably like April, May-ish, of like when I did it. And so the biggest difference is that like when I did it with my family, we all threw $5 to make a pot. But now I do not do that. So anyone that plays, it is free entry and you play to win a prize.
Do you not think, from a business standpoint, though, that you're kind of limiting it somewhat in the sense that maybe like instead of going for say like a freemium model or something like that? Because I think I agree. I think it should be free. It's just more accessible. People are more likely
Yeah.
to play it. But just out of curiosity, like how come you didn't sort of go for that?
That's a great question. So I thought of it more as a the price point would be coming from the actual institutions that I am hosting it at. So let's say I take the bar down the block. They offer the UFC events. I would charge them to host at their bar, so all of their constituents would be able to play. So it's not that I'm getting money from each person, it's that I'd be getting money from each establishment.
What do they get from working with you?
That's a fantastic question. So what do they get from me is everything. So part of what I offer right now is that you take the survey, right? It's whatever, 10, 15 questions based on the event, doesn't matter. So I set up the survey, make the questions, I do the creation of the flyer if there's a particular event. In that, once you submit the survey, you get an email automatically thanking you so much for your participation. Here are all your picks, and here's the date. Then, during the actual event, I'm the one that creates a dashboard and it updates live. So as the first quarter goes on of a basketball game, you find out who scores first. So now people scores themselves are changing and you could see that live. So like, oh, I got this question right. I scored 3 points. Now I'm in third place. Oh, I got this other question right. Now I'm in second. And then you also get the email thanking you for your participation and your place, etc.
What's other than, and we'll get to like obviously the setup of the
Please.
app because it obviously sounds quite complex as far as how it's tied to real time statistics and sport and stuff. But what's stopping like venues from doing this? Would it be the cost of setting it up? Like if you think like your bigger brands, like let's say I don't know if like Hooters would show sports in the States, but
Mhm,
like the main like sports bar brands that
mhm.
are franchises in what's to stop them from
Like
sort of
Buffalo
creating.
Wild Wings or something.
Okay, yeah. So what would stop them from say creating their own app and doing exactly what you're doing? Like what why
Absolutely
should
nothing.
people work with you?
So I am a big believer that anyone can do anything, right? And so there are a bunch of different sports bar brands. There's Hooters, there's Buffalo Wild Wings. When it goes to gambling, you can do DraftKings or FanDuel,
Right.
etc.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like to some degree, they're all basically the same in my opinion. There are maybe minor details, but unless you disagree.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Mhm.
I mean, I know DraftKings is huge in the States. I know it's like really, really taken off in the last sort of 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I guess what I'm trying to allude to is like what's differentiating you from those other providers? Like, why should people use FanForeSight? Like, what is the key thing that makes you stand out from other fan engagement platforms?
So as of right now, I don't know anyone that's doing exactly the same thing, but I
Mhm.
could be wrong, of course. The first is that it's free to everyone. So if you are interested in gambling on sports, right, you have to go to FanDuel, you have to put your own money to risk it. This is free for everybody. So if I'm offering it to the bar down the street, you'd be interested because everyone can do it, right? Doesn't matter if your 95-year-old great grandfather or like your 10-year-old cousin or whatever, anyone can do it. When no matter what your education level on the actual event is too. And then why would you want to have it as bar A? And like, why would you want bar A to have it? Because bar B doesn't. So if you are now deciding, oh, should I watch the NBA finals at bar A or bar B? They're both showing the bars. They're both showing the event. They both have food. They both have drink. The difference is that one, I could potentially win a prize.
I
I
was gonna
can
say,
be
yeah,
involved in something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like Bar A has
I
fan
can
foresight. Like,
exactly.
oh, great, yeah, 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 yeah.
It's the competition within the competition. So now there's a competition that you're watching, NBA finals, UFC, wrestling, doesn't matter. Now you're also competing against other people regarding to what's actually happening.
How many bars venues are you partnered with currently?
I'd like to do more. I've only done it at a handful so far, but we're hoping to expand.
Tell me more if you can. So, okay, which state are you based in right now, if you don't mind me
Right
asking?
now, the New York City. Well,
New York.
yeah. So New York. I'm from New York, though.
Fantastic. So it's like
Yeah.
perfect for that. It's like
Yeah.
if it works in New York, it'll work anywhere. I really do believe that. Yeah.
I agree too.
Have you? What have been the biggest challenges with setting this up so far?
Oh man, that's a fantastic question. So the biggest challenge, number one, is just getting my foot in the door. I have no problem whatsoever. I canvassed way back in the day. So when I was a teenager, I worked for a solar company and I went knocking on people's doors and was like, "Hey, I'm Christian. Do you want solar panels?" Obviously not like that, but the gist. And so there have been a lot of bars that like I'm like, "Hey, we'll do the first one for free. If you don't like it, you tell me to go F off. If your patrons like it, we do it again. We figure out a deal." And getting that first one has been the hardest one because any place that I've done the first one, they've loved it and they got great reviews on it. People have asked to have it come again. So I'm not worried about the second or third. Just getting from 0 to 1 has been the hardest part, which is like makes sense because it's turning potential into kinetic energy, which is always the challenging part, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like we live in a very unpredictable world when it well in general, but also when it comes to business because I've had like some amazing concepts on my show over the years, businesses, ideas, concepts, etc. And I've seen a lot that should work and sometimes do and sometimes don't, and you really can't predict what is gonna pop off, so to speak.
Mhm.
It comes down to what people connect with
Yeah.
and relate to on some level. Sometimes it can be a social media fad and it can just kind of pop off for a little bit and then sort of fizzle out. Other things stick around, stay. Um, I think for something like this, in my opinion, the standout thing is like with your friends, a sort of a fun game style thing where maybe that you can mitigate the risk somewhat, which kind of leads me to my next question. Like, how do you protect people other than the obvious ways that we know about, like having the warnings and stuff like that? What are the things you have in place to, let's say, prevent from gambling addiction, or at least kind of, I don't know, keep it at bay?
Yeah.
I know, obviously, like a lot of it comes down to individual responsibility and discipline is the word I was looking for. But what measures have you put in place to kind of protect from that?
So I'd say the first thing is that there's no actual money involved. No person has to do it. So in theory, there's no gambling. Like if you're at the bar, you scan the QR code and you answer your questions, and now you are in it to win it.
Okay.
So like let's say I'm at bar A, right? You're like going to watch the NBA finals. You and all your boys are trying to go out. You go out to the bar and you're like, oh man, they're having a fan foresight here. You scan the QR code, you answer questions, and then you are just basically in a raffle to win prizes provided by Bar A. So they'll do like a $50 gift card or like a bucket of beers or something like that. So in terms of gambling, there's actually no gambling happening. It's more similar to a raffle. Local, I'm putting my name in to win a prize. I just have to do it based off performance and less off of random luck of like I got raffle ticket 30.
Okay, so on that basis, so you're not earning any money from users actually using the app.
Not currently.
The venue pays you to host essentially
Yeah.
an event, but with an app,
Hmm.
etc.
Hmm.
So, what's the upside for them? I guess, like other than the event itself, like people buy more drinks, people stay in the venue. Is that the upside?
Absolutely. So there's a few things. There's one, it's that you are now separating yourself from the sports bar down the block. Assuming that most of the things are the same, you're now separating yourself. So two, you get this have people stay longer they want to see. There's more interactivity as well. Three, one thing that I have found so far is that all people that have earned prizes have come back to redeem them. So they are getting more people to come. So if you want a bucket of beers, you are now coming in that next Tuesday instead of that next Friday when you were originally going to go in to get the bucket of beers. And now you brought your friends because it's a bucket, and now everyone's getting an appetizer and an entree. And so now you won, you brought your four friends. Now they all know about it. And now you spent more money than they even did off that one bucket
Right.
of beer that they
Okay.
gave you.
Yeah. So it's tied in directly with the business of the establishments themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense. Okay, because I was going to ask, like, oh, who sets the price? Assume you if you put like a cash prize or something like that, like, yeah, that's great, but like, it'd be better, and the bars are more likely to go for it if it's like, oh, okay, here's a $50 bar tab,
Exactly.
for winning, and then people will always spend more than the $50.
Exactly. And the
Mm.
crucial part of that is that you cannot redeem it same night. So you have to come back. So if I
Ooh,
got a bucket of beers, like let's say I want a bucket of beers, I have to come back a next time to redeem that.
that's clever.
That's just how, yeah, that's just how I have, that was my idea and how I've recommended it. And obviously the bars are able to do whatever they want and will, just though that now you have to force them to come again.
It's clever.
I'm now driving business away from one of my contemporaries to me, and I'm spending more money than they probably would have because they got something for free.
I want to talk about the analytics side and the
Please.
just kind of like how you're able to do things in real time. So obviously a lot of programming will be involved
Hmm.
at the back end to kind of make that possible. We'll get into your background as far as that's concerned, probably a little bit later. But how is it exactly? Is it tied to programs that you've made yourself, or is it tied to maybe real-time statistics somewhere else and partnered with that? Like how is that sort of made possible?
Everything is made by me, blood, sweat, tears. So I have, I would say, hopefully less of blood and tears, but everything that I have done, I've created myself. And so as of right now, once the answers are available, like let's say it's a UFC event, and once someone wins, then things are automatically updated. And so your score, dashboards, who's got things right, who's got things wrong, percentages, etc., are all updated in real time.
Is it just you doing it? There's no one else. You got no
That's
staff?
me, just me.
Oh, dude, I feel you, man. It's me all the time as well in my life. As far
It's
as like
the New York
running
City
stuff,
grit, man. It's the New York City grit.
I really can see this taking off.
Thank you.
I don't know, like I kind of get a feeling with certain things sometimes, and I feel like, okay, how long has this been going now?
Let's say since May.
Okay, I think this time next year, you'll be a millionaire.
I'll be back on the podcast to see
We're calling it. If it happens,
if it happens.
I called it, and I'll be like, look, I called it. Here it is.
I'm flying to you and I'm buying.
Oh hell yeah! What? No, if you become a millionaire, I want to come to. I've never been to New York. I'd love to come to New York and just and yeah, come to the bar and play it and do it. Like that would be cool.
I'll
I
fly
just
out, no problem.
hell yeah, man. I feel if you look at the state of the world right now with the way things
Mhm.
are, we need as much fun as possible. Right? This is fun and it's I've seen similar things here in the UK, not exactly though. But there's definitely like a space for it, a gap. There would be in the UK as well, I feel. Um, and if you look at something being like, oh, it's completely free to use. Obviously, you know what's happening in the sense that okay, if I win prizes at the bar, I'm probably going to end up paying more at the bar or
Yeah,
where.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
but hey, like who doesn't love getting something for free? Like that's sick.
Exactly. And who
And
doesn't love to win?
sure, yeah, exactly,
Who
yeah, yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
love
yeah.
to win? And if you're with your boys, right, and you're just like, you don't care about the game on, whether you do or you don't, doesn't matter. But you're like, oh man, I don't want to lose though. I don't want one of my boys to have like win instead of me. I want the prize.
it reminds me of okay, so people who listen to my show, they're going to be like, "Oh, he's brought it up again." So I'm a massive fan of this TV show called How I Met Your Mother,
Love
and
How I Met Your Mother.
right,
Sandcastles in the sand.
oh hell yeah, man! If you know, you know. Um, there's an episode, and I'm sure you know, but like for those who don't know, there's an episode where it's all about the Super Bowl, and they couldn't catch it for whatever reason, but they make a deal that they're going to avoid all spoilers for
Hmm.
the Super Bowl, and then try to watch it after the fact. And Barney puts a bet on the actual game, so keep that in mind for 1 second.
Hmm.
And the brilliance of it is it's easy for Ted. I think he works from home. And at one point, he has to wear like a visor thing to get all the chicken and the sauces from his local sports bar. But he's trying to avoid all spoilers. Um, Lily and Marshall work their respective jobs. And I think it gets ruined because they hear it on the radio or something by the
Hmm.
janitor. So it's like, but they were doing well. And then Robin, the character Robin, like she presents the news. So and they managed to find a way to like where she
Hmm.
presents it with non-specific names and somehow makes it work. And then it gets ruined. And then Barney just couldn't like he couldn't deal with it. He had to ruin it for himself. Finds out he loses money, and then they all get together and they're like, "Come on, guys, let's watch Barney lose money." And it's just fun, and they still have fun, right?
Hmm.
But it kind of dawned on me as well, like it was always fun floating a little bit of money on it. It's not fun when people get like upset, like, "Oh, god damn it! Oh, this sucks. This sucks." You don't want to be
Hmm.
at that level. You want to keep it in
No.
the fun sphere, and kind of like when I think about it, every time I ever did a pub quiz, like I never really particularly cared if I won. Like it was great when I
Hmm.
did, but you do want to when you play to win. I think
Yeah.
you want to kind of keep that balance, that area, and I think that's where an app like this could work really well. Is keeping it in that kind of ballpark where it's always fun and just everyone's having a good time. You know.
That's my goal. It's kind of like a new age take on a trivia night or something like that as well. Just it's tied to a particular event. Because with trivia event, like you don't know what's going to go down. You don't know what questions are going to be asked. But you go, you try to have fun, and it breaks up the monotony of just watching it.
Have you approached similar companies about not necessarily partnering, but doing like collaboration, stuff like that?
I don't know if this answers your question, but I have been in contact. So I like to volunteer, especially with kids. When I was in undergrad, I was part of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and now I do good amount of volunteering work with Make a Wish. I don't know if you ever heard of either of those. I'm sure Make a Wish, though, right? It's like
Yeah.
ubiquitous in the world. So I reached out to both of them, and I'm looking to partner with both of them before the end of the year, which would be awesome. I don't know if that counts as like a collaboration on your end, but that
Um,
was just a
hey, it makes your company look good from a PR standpoint if you're helping with charity. I think I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? I don't know if it could be part of the game, as in like win something for charity. Maybe not. I don't know. I think there's like a grey area there of if it's okay or not. But if there was some way to like give to charities, know that you're partnered with the charity, like it's good. It just makes a company look good. But more so when it's genuine and you can see like people like yourself like going and actually being there with people and helping people and stuff like that. Like John Cena is the person I think about when you think about Make a Wish, and he's done
he's the
like,
best.
he's done like 300 of them. He still does them.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to anymore, but he still does because for those who don't know, like WWE is partnered with them and gets like wrestlers to come visit, often like very sick children in hospital and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and grants them wishes, and it's just like really lovely stuff to be honest. But it's like you can tell like a lot of it is corporate, like they have to do it. But obviously the wrestlers want to be a part of it because it's just
Yeah.
great, good stuff to do with your life. But John hasn't been working full time in the company since I want to say like 2014, 2015, something like that. That's when he
Hmm.
caught, sort of left for Hollywood. After that, he was always part of the company, but more as a kind of like spokesperson, sort of
Like a
legend.
face. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but he wasn't like the guy anymore from that kind of corporate perspective, if you like. And it's just refreshing to see that, after all these years, he's still doing it, still cares. And I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Um, the cynic in me is always like looking at stuff like that and going, "Ah, well, are you doing it for PR or is it real?" And I think if you've got people like, especially like the owner of a company in the thick of it, doing it and really caring about it, then it's just always going to be a lot more positive for the company, but also just making the company more relatable, I suppose.
And it could be both, right?
Sure.
Because you can get happiness out of providing happiness to others,
Yes.
even if it's a detriment. I mean, that's somewhat of the definition of altruism, right? Whether it's no benefit to you or it hinders benefits to you. Like, I'll give you an example. I helped grant a wish last year for this kid that loved cricket, and he wanted to go to the Cricket World Cup, which was happening in New York City. And so Make a Wish actually was able to, he's from the Middle East and he flew in from Seattle. I don't know where, like somewhere on the West Coast. And he got to meet the Pakistani cricket team, like the national team. And I mean, it brought tears in my eyes how loving and just emotional it was. And so the whole cricket team was there, and his whole family was there, like aunts, uncles, whatever. They all had a great time. And they got to go to a practice. So they got to meet everyone and watch them practice. And like, they literally are just taking the shirts off their back, the jerseys that they have to give to the family, signing things. They took the hats, gave one to everyone, like the shirts and clothes off their back they gave to the family. And like, sure, maybe they do it because it's PR and like looks good for the Pakistani national team. But like, man, if you don't also get enjoyment from doing that, it was one of the most heartwarming experiences of my entire life. And I'm just there trying to make sure that things move from here to there, the where the family is, making sure the team is still here, etc. I'm just like a middleman, and to even be able to be a part of that, you could be both. You could be John Cena and be like, oh, like this looks good for the WWE, but like, man, like if I can make a kid have a great day, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think normally you can see through it if it's just PR, you know.
Hmm.
I think it's just more because we live in a very cynical world now. I think it's more important to kind of get ahead of it and just be like, because if you're spending your own time doing something, you're doing it regularly, it's very difficult to
Yeah,
make that argument like, oh, well, it's
yeah,
just about the PR. And it's like, really, would you spend all your time doing this if it was just about the PR? I don't think
yeah.
so. I think,
Guy's done like a million of those. Like, all right, like he paid his
yeah,
dues, if anything.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, would John Cena have done like over, it might even be more than 300, might be like 500. Would he have done all of them if it was just about PR? I don't think so.
Hmm.
I just don't think so.
I agree with you.
What have been the biggest successes with the app so far?
My biggest success was at one event getting over 100 people. I thought that was really impressive and like a something that I wanted to like a personal milestone, right? Because you're always like, okay, like let me get one person, then let me get 10, let me get 50. And so I thought getting into triple digits was a pretty successful moment.
I brought up an old TV show that depicts New York, from what I hear, very accurately in sort of mid 2000s to the early 2010s. What does the modern sports bar event center in New York City look like? How has it changed over the years? Like, what are you looking at in 2025?
That's a fantastic question. So I think the first one is that there still are I I would say number one is that it really depends on location, because a bar in Brooklyn versus Queens versus the Bronx may be different, especially because that there are particular fans in each neighborhood as well. Like So like if you're in the Bronx, there may be ones that are more geared towards the Yankees, or like if you're in the Queens, more geared towards the Mets. So like there's differences in location. I would also say that like there are a lot of smaller venues, but also still a lot of bigger ones like Buffalo Wild Wings. So there's a bunch of those. And your experience going to Buffalo Wild Wings is going to be different from going to like Pilot House, which is one that I have done. I'm looking for a lot of TVs and I'm looking for sound. I'm looking for sound at the same time. Did that answer your question? What does
Yeah,
the modern
yeah,
one look like? I think like also it's either like you're going to like a real divey bar and like there's a bunch of stickers and it looks like it's been there since like 1776, or there's the new age one where like, oh, it looks so modern and spacious and like, yeah, you can have a TV, but you can have like this craft beer as well.
yeah. I got my own feelings about that. I'm very mixed feelings about that.
Tell me about them.
If I was going to see okay, okay, cool, all right. So the last time I went to one of those for an event was
Hmm.
an a feels like years ago now. It was, but an AEW wrestling event, and
Nice.
yeah, well, it was back then. It's just gone down off a cliff and since.
You know,
But
SummerSlam was just last weekend
New
in
York
New
has to be New York.
Jersey. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
New
yeah.
York. Yeah, yeah, sure. So, they always do it in New Jersey because it's cheaper. It just bugs me, and they're like SummerSlam in New York, and it's New Jersey. It's a different place. Like
Yeah,
it's
well, if you it's
technically
MetLife 100%. And I don't know if you know, but the two like New York City football teams play in MetLife too, so they don't even play in New York.
it's a weird one, isn't it? Like
I
I
know.
never quite understood the whole New York New Jersey thing because New York. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. New Yorkers consider New Jersey to not be part of New York. Is that correct?
It's 100% not part of New York.
Okay, so
Totally different state.
because I know that New York City is a state. I had to get my head around this because a lot of people get this confused. So, and I've spoken about this on the show before, so sorry for rehashing this, but the bit that we all know from like movies and TV shows is tiny. Manhattan is this small little island,
An island.
and all those places you mentioned, Brooklyn, Queens, etc., are in that little sphere. And then there's everywhere else in New York City, this or New York the state, sorry,
Mhm.
which is it could be upstate, downstate, etc. And there's like farmland and shit. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like New York is massive, and then New Jersey is its own state. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So
So that's really clear. It's a different state. So why is there confusion? Is it because it's close to New York City?
I think it's because it's close to New York City. I think also because they both start with new.
Okay.
So it's like New Jersey, New York. I don't think those are the only two states. I may be getting this wrong. New York and New Jersey that start with new.
Yep.
So you're like, oh, they're
Yep.
both new. They're both right next to each other. They both start with the same word. Maybe that. So I could drive from New York City to Jersey right now if I wanted to, right? Like it's very close. There's Jersey
Soprano
City,
style. Yeah.
etc. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's all that
Like,
goes going through my head.
yeah, quite literally.
Probably like 45 minutes, hour, maybe.
Honestly, there's always just so much traffic.
What about if you're getting train?
It, ooh, I actually have never taken the train from New York to Jersey. I've never done that.
They
Maybe I
make
should
it
put that on my list of things to do.
they make it look so bad in How I Met Your Mother. I feel bad for people who live in New Jersey because of that show. I'm like, give them something. The only thing they said is, oh, it's nice like to live in the suburbs, but they also kind of shit on that too. And it's like you got to give them something. Thank,
100%.
thank God for The Sopranos. Like just and maybe Jersey Shore. I don't know like, how people feel about
They also,
that.
I love Jersey Shore. They have Atlantic City, which is very nice.
There you go. There you go.
So you got
Um,
two things.
okay. What has FanForeSight taught you about fan interaction?
Hmm. I think that overall, people are looking for community. And I think that we've been moving forward into society where, like, in a good way, there's been less peer pressuring and less bullying. I'd like to believe that, right? Like, overall, from like back in the day to now, right? Like, people are supposed to be more accepting and you are yourself. What I think has deviate away from that in a bad way is like the friendly jabs, like being with your friends and just being able to make fun of each other and not in like, oh, you are bad, you suck, in a way that's like friendly and like I'm repeating myself, but like
Mm,
friendly jabs. And
yeah,
so I think that this provides a way to bring that back, like something that's not really tied to yourself, like who scores first has no impact on your knowledge or yourself, but you can make fun of each other like, oh, like at least I got it first. And so it allows for like an easier way.
there's so many things I can ask you about. I think what I might do
Please.
um, is sort of round things down, and then would you be interested in doing maybe a follow up show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you be down for that?
Yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah. Ah, fantastic. Because I feel like we've really like spoken a lot about your you know, your company and everything you do, and obviously we've got to know a little bit more about you as well and your ethos and philosophy and stuff, and that I think is always really useful in promoting an individual, maybe more so
Mhm.
than just like strictly talking about the business itself.
Mhm.
Fantastic. I know people are going to love this show anyway.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. I put out what I do is I put out a show, and for those who don't know, I put out a Patreon sort of bonus episode or bonus content, and there'll certainly be bonus content from this show available. So make sure you check that out. And yeah, more to come, I guess. If you're game, fantastic. Okay, couple of final questions for you. Let's okay. Let's talk New York, and then let's talk some final questions because we
Let's
spoke
do
about it
it.
earlier. I think it would be good to kind of like circle back. So, which TV shows and movies have accurately portrayed what it's actually like to live in New York?
Great question. I actually think How I Met Your Mother does a good job of like everyone going down to the local bar. I would say that I might be primed for that answer because we've been talking about it, but I think How I Met Your Mother has done a good job of that. I do think that like I have not watched it, but growing up, my mom would watch Sex in the City,
Hmm.
and like I do think that Sex in the City, while like obviously we're romanticized an HBO show, but I do think they do a good job of like exploring different personalities in New York and what it's like to be a woman in New York. Not that I am one or am like trying to speak to that, just like, hey, you have all these different people and all these personalities. Oh, we're going out. Like there was just an episode I remembered of like them having to go to Long Island for like a weekend or something, and they're like, "Yo, we don't want to go to Long Island. We want to stay in New York." And so I thought that was like an accurate description.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I, I, I obviously I mentioned How I Met Your Mother earlier, and we spoke about that. Like I'm a big fan of it just because of just like how it's structured, the messages, everything. But it does make New York look really, really fun, and it's obviously of its time, but it's also kind of talking retroactively, like from the future into the past and
Hmm.
stuff. So it's interesting. Um, but whenever you get a situation where something is not filmed in the place that was filmed, I think on a soundstage in like LA or
Yeah.
something. So they did a pretty decent job of sort of recreating a somewhat realistic New York City scape, I feel somewhat. Um, but also more importantly, and for those who might not know, there's a podcast out there right now called "How We Made Your Mother," and
Is there?
yeah, I always find that title funny. They even have fun with it in the promos. They're like, "Your
Mhm.
mother." Anyway, it has. Josh Radnor, who played Ted, and also
Hmm.
the show's creators on the show, just talking about every single episode, breaking it down, sort of behind the scenes questions, everything. And what I learned is that the show's creators actually lived in New York for years, and a lot of the stories they took from their own lives quite a lot. And the show, other than being like what it is also kind of like a love letter to New York and like their nostalgia for it and stuff like that, and sort of trying to capture it. And
I
that
feel
for
that.
do you know what I mean? It gives it so much more
Yeah.
realness because you can tell when something is coming from a perspective of people who've like never lived in a place, so they don't really know.
Mhm.
Like like it's, but then there's also the aspect of like types of life in
Yeah.
the city because obviously um shows like Friends and How I Met Your Mother give you like one idea, but it's like I saw a criticism recently which I thought was fantastic, even for the 90s. They said, "Oh, Friends is just like so unrealistic. Like, imagine being able to have the time to have like full on breakfast before work in like in between friends' apartments,
Yeah.
like, and the chances of like living across the hall from each other, like it's just not realistic." And it's
Yeah.
true. Do you know what I mean? And like, they've been living in like pretty expensive apartments even for the 90s. Like, it's just
Yeah, and they're all supposedly broke and they live in the great apartments and like it's not like college where your best friends are right next door.
well, Joey is the best example of that because he's a struggling actor, and most of the time he's broke, right? And
Hmm.
it's like, okay, so how can he afford to live in that apartment? Even if Chandler is taking up, like, is he just in debt to Chandler or something? Why
Yeah,
would
just
Chandler take
eating
that on?
80% of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like why would like yeah, like, I get that they're besties, but that's taking the piss, mate. Like
Yeah.
eventually there's got to be a line where it's like, hey,
Mhm.
listen, you might want to like downsize or rethink this. I don't know. Who knows? I just find that interesting.
I agree with you.
Because they commented on that in How I Met Your Mother. They tried to make them living in that apartment realistic. So it's quite, you'll notice it's quite bunched together. It's a
Hmm.
two-bedroom apartment, um, but it's very compact. And one of the things that they said in a recent episode is that like in your 20s that's quite a common thing that you would do is
Yeah.
bunch up, and I'm doing it now in my early 30s. Like you power with people, you do what you
Hmm.
can, and it's crazy. Like I said to my friend Scooter, and yes, his name is Scooter. It's cool. um we were talking about this, and it was like it's crazy how sometimes it's cheaper to live with people than it is to go and find your own place.
Well, almost exclusively.
It's like they charge you for that privilege. It's like, oh, you want to live on your own?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to charge you triple.
Yeah. A one bedroom is more expensive per
Two
person than a
grand.
three bed. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, like people like I've people have people ask me that before, like, oh, would you want to live in New York City? And I'm like, no, not unless I'm a millionaire. I'd
Yeah. I don't blame you.
well, because you're just paying out your ass for what?
Hmm.
To say, oh, I live in New York City, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but what about the day to day? Like, it's costly. I mean,
Yeah.
I reckon because I remember someone saying this years ago as well. Like, okay, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say a two-bed apartment in Manhattan, somewhere like that. Somewhere in the heart of
Okay.
it all. Okay, so maybe downtown, something like that. I reckon 3,000.
Yeah, I'll give you for reference. In Williamsburg, part of Brooklyn, I would say it's a more popular part of Brooklyn. My friend and I, 2021, before they were upping the prices after COVID again,
Bastards.
was 2,500 for a two bedroom. All
Gee.
right. Now we left that spot because afterwards they raised it to 3,500.
Jesus
Right.
Christ.
Yeah. But if you were trying to look for like a one bedroom or a studio, 1,700 per person is not out of the realm.
That's insane, man. I don't know how they can just. I mean, they try to get away with that here in the UK, but how can you justifiably charge that much?
It's New York. Someone's gonna pay it.
Crazy. Some say New
I agree with
York.
you.
Some say New York City is the best city on earth. What say you?
I've been to a lot of cities and I've been to all 50 states. I
Wow.
actually do. Yeah, I've been to all 50 states.
We'll get to that in a sec. Um, but go on.
Do I think it's the best city? Yeah, I do. And there's a few reasons why. One is that I think that New York City does such a fantastic job of letting people be themselves and the most authentic selves on the individual level and also on a more group scale. What I mean by group scale is like you can go to Little Italy and have first generation Italians. You can go to Chinatown and have people that are from Beijing. You can go to these particular neighborhoods, and there's so many of these, and get authentic first, second generation people, real immigrants, and they're there. And like no one bothers you, right? When you go to Chinatown, everything is in Mandarin. There's English and Mandarin, but like you're like, oh, I'm in Chinatown. That's what's going down. So I think that it really does allow people to be themselves and be as culturally authentic as possible. I also think that, in my opinion, it's the best city and easiest to get around in. There are driving, there's walking, there's bicycles, there's buses, and there's trains. I think that like people may be able to say things, oh, what they do and don't like, but the amount of options that I have is just stunning. It's the easiest city to get around. And I think that those pair together because it needs to be easy to get around in order to really experience it and experience the different cultures. So all the cultures, while independent, are able to interact with each other. That's my
What's it?
thought.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, man. And it's funny, like how many people have the same feeling as well. That show I mentioned, where they say the same things, and they've not lived there in like since, from what I understand, like the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, something like that. Because they moved away, they moved to LA to work on like the
Mhm.
Letterman show and stuff like that. And they talk about it like that, like they just something about it, something about that city.
Yeah.
What's it like living in New York in 2025?
Mm, I'm going to say that I'm going to say that one of the biggest differences is the Citizens app. Have you ever heard of the Citizens app? I don't think it's exclusive to New York, but the Citizens app is like I hear a loud noise on my block. I can now put it on the app, and everyone in like a mile radius can know that there's like an incident going on in my block. I think that because of that, people have been more in each other's businesses. But I do think that New York City is still as rock and roll as ever. Last weekend, I literally was at a rooftop show, like someone's apartment building. They decided to have like a show, like they had a bunch of bands playing. I went to go see one of my boys, Person Band. He's in Person Band. And we're all like there, like, and we're drinking, having fun. There's two bands before him. Him and his band go on. The first song, they're like, "Oh, cops are here, cops are here." We're all just like, "All right, so we'll wait till they're here." So they
I would have
come
just
up
been
the
like, offer him a
stairs.
beer, man. Fuck it.
Yeah, yeah.
Be like, hey, come in.
So
Yeah, yeah.
so we just like the cops come up and Person Band keeps performing until they literally have to grab the mic out of their hands.
That's
Right?
sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so I do think there's like rock and roll. I'm like, yo, like let me do whatever I want to do. I don't think that New York spirit has diminished whatsoever. I think people are like, yo, I'm from New York. I want to do what I want to do. Like, leave me alone.
It's cool as well that has kind of stood the test of time. And it's good that people are still doing shit like that as well. Like I go out regularly with friends. I don't touch my phone. I don't care about any of that. Like it's cool to have it. It's good to know it's there,
Mhm.
and you check it now and again. But like it's good to just go out with your buddies, do things, experience things. Like these are the things you're gonna look back on in the future and be like,
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember when we did this? Do you remember this? This is, hey, kids, this is what we used to do, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, when I think of New York, right, like people are always like, oh, what's the difference between East Coast and West Coast? Like in New York, people will save your life, but will get mad at you for making them late to work. Like they'll yell at you. They'll like pick you up from the train tracks and be like, yo, like, but see what you had to do? You had to make me late for work, but they'll help you, right? They'll be mad, but they'll help you. And I think that's part of the spirit. Like they're all together, but like I think there's love too
Okay, this is a big one.
in me.
What has New York taught you about life?
Anything is possible. I really feel that way. New York, anything is possible. And I think that starts with the fact that you're just surrounded by the most niche people. You can, like, I went to high school and there was like a million different types of nationalities in my high school, right? And you could do this and you could do that. You could be whoever you wanted. And I think in New York, that still stands. So, like, I do feel like anything's impossible. Anything is possible. Nothing is impossible. That's what New York City has taught me. It makes me feel like you can do whatever you want. Like, who made the rules? In New York City, you make the rules.
I have to ask because I mentioned it earlier,
Eh,
that I come back to it. 50 states. How did you do that? What did you learn from
Oh
that?
man, this is what I can tell you is that I think, and I don't know what you are ingesting overseas, especially in Europe, but like there's so much rhetoric of like, there's so much internal American discourse and people not getting along with each other. I think I couldn't tell you how false I think that really is. I think that America is gigantic and the East is not the same as the West, South, North. Like they're it's totally different cultures, but all of it is really the same as well. I think that I would make George Washington and the founding fathers proud that I've been to all 50 states. I think that's awesome. I do think that there's a lot of merit in traveling in your own country first and experiencing what your own country has to offer before you really go and explore in not saying that exploring other places is bad either, just like but you should see what's in your own home too.
I completely agree with you. I think that America is fucking amazing because people forget like
Yeah.
it's a continent, North America and South
Basically,
America.
yeah.
Right. No, I hate, and you've got like every type of weather. Um, like it's so different. Like New York versus LA, Texas, they're all so different. People are different. Culture is different. Laws are
Yeah.
different. I mean, it's basically 50 countries, really, if you think
I
about it.
mean, truly, it's 50 countries.
It's crazy. I totally agree with you. Like I have people complain about the UK, and look, I've bitched and moaned about the UK as well. But do you know what? I moved away for 3 years. I went to live in Europe for 3 years. Biggest takeaway: I learned what I missed.
Yeah.
I actually started to get homesick. I came back. I was eternally grateful. I'll joke every now and again about the UK, but you know what? The UK has so much to offer. And every time I get to go to a new city, a new place to perform or just visit, I make the most of it. And I really am just enamored by what the UK has to offer. And I just want to see as much as possible. And to me, it's like adventure. Like
Yeah.
there should be adventure in life. And why can't that be on your doorstep?
Yeah, I think it's funny too because coming from New York, like I think the trope of people aren't that friendly can stand. And I was living in Nashville for a little bit, Nashville, Tennessee, which is what's colloquially known as like the Bible Belt of America. It's like this string of different states where like it's pretty religious. But it was so cool living there because like I would go on my morning runs and everyone's waving good morning to me, right? And like they just see me out, hey, good morning. So I thought that was cool. I think what's also interesting about New York is that like I lived in a particular neighborhood in Nashville, the same spot. And all the Uber drivers were like, "Oh, you're living here?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, you got to be really careful. This is a bad neighborhood." And I was like, man, you have no idea what a bad neighborhood is if you think where I'm living right now is a bad neighborhood. Like you have no idea. And I'm not even, this is not me flexing of like, I've been
The
in the worst neighborhoods in New York and I live there. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But like comparatively, the bad places that people have told me versus like what's actually a bad place is night and day.
Yeah, it's just so different when you actually explore and see what there is, and you get a better understanding of things. Like, um, it just opens up your mind.
Yeah.
I think it puts you more in touch with things. And tourism will get you as well. Like I look at like people's perceptions of the UK, and it's very distorted from reality. It's not to say that there isn't truth to some of it. It's just there's an assumption about the UK if you're abroad that all we do is drink tea and eat crumpets and we're all pally with the Queen. And it's like, dude, most people live in small box rooms or apartment blocks,
Hmm.
often derelict shit. We've got nice ones, sure, but like a lot of people are poor or don't have a lot of money and get by paycheck to paycheck. Um, we live with high streets. I've tried to explain that to people abroad, like a high street, and they're like, "What's that?" And it's like a row of shops, cheap, um,
Hmm.
chicken shops, kebab shop. That's UK. That's what I grew up with. I grew up with the corner shop that's run by a Sikh dude or a Muslim dude, and
Yeah.
he's been there for like 30 odd years because, his family moved there years ago and he bought a shop. And now, explaining boss man to people. It's just you probably something you don't have in the States. I don't know why the fuck we call people boss man. It's just a thing we do, but it's a respect thing. Um, supporting your local chicken shop owner, and maybe he'll give you an extra bit of chicken.
Yeah.
um, just I don't know, like that's the UK I grew up with, and the perception I've seen that when other countries talk about it, I understand it. They're looking at the Midsummer Murders
Yeah.
UK, or they're looking at the I don't know. I don't know. There's millions of examples. Uh, what's that one that the big show that everyone was on about? Not Bridgerton, the other one. Oh, is that the Royals or whatever? Downton Abbey. Wow, that took me a while. Um, people have an idea of the UK. It's a small idea that it's probably like 5-10% of the UK, maybe
Mhm.
20. So it's not wrong. It's just one idea. And I feel like that's very accurate. If you really want to experience a country and get to know what it has to offer, you need to see all aspects. I always say to
Absolutely.
people, if you're going to visit a country, don't just go to the capital, go elsewhere.
100%.
It's like I lived in Estonia for 3 years, and I can tell you Tallinn is not Estonia. Tallinn has parts of the culture, sure. But if you really want to see real Estonia, you need to go out to like rural south in the middle on the islands like that. Then you venture out of the city, then you'll see the real country. And it's so true for so many places. I've seen it time and time again. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. You got to go to as local as possible.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
I was probably about 14. I was at the park with one of my best friends who I'm still friends with today. And we were playing a game of basketball. And we are picking teams. And so it's however the teams went out, one team was just stacked with the best people that were there. It was fantastic players. Another, which I was on with my friend, was totally undervalued. I mean, we were not going to win at any point. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, it's not going to win. Like, we can't do it. And he goes, Christian, I always think I'm going to win in any game I play. And I always think about that. Like, he didn't care that the odds were against him. He didn't know that most likely was going to lose. He was like, yo, if I'm playing the game, I can win. And so that's the best advice that I've gotten. Not in terms that may not be as direct as like, oh, take some advice from me, but that was advice I think that he gave me that I really stand in. Like, if there's anything I'm doing, I think I can win. I think I could do it.
Yeah, you got to approach life with that kind of winning mentality, even if the odds are stacked against you. I think it's what is it they say? Like, it's half the battle, isn't it? Like it's
I can't win if I
something.
don't think I could win.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big part of it. What's the biggest life lesson you've learned so far?
You are who your friends are. I think that there
What?
are many times in my life where I thought that I actually didn't realize that I was acting unaccording to myself because of the people I surrounded myself with. And taking a step back of like, oh, that's actually not me. These actually are my friends. And so my sphere of influence needs to change.
It's hard to disagree with that. Yeah. I mean, you could fall into the wrong crowds. I've had situations where I thought people were a certain way and they weren't. So it's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's challenging.
Mad. Final question for you
Hey,
to
man.
round things off. It's been such a great show. Do you have any upcoming projects or any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, it seems like I may be brought on for a part two. So
Hell yeah.
I think that's something I'm looking forward to. I think now that football season is starting, I'd really like to get something going around that. I have some ideas. And then a personal accomplishment of mine, we didn't get to talk about it maybe on the next episode, is that I do teach in the CUNY system, which is the largest urban collegiate system, I think, in the world. And I'll be starting working at Brooklyn College at a master's program for the first time. So I think that's something I'm really looking forward to.
I think the future's bright for you, pal. That's what I
Thank
see.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. How old are you, by the way, if you don't mind me
I'm
asking?
30. I just turned 30 this year in March.
That's crazy, man. It blows my mind because you're really achieving some big things with your life, and you seem very young-minded, but like matured as well. Like I mean that in the best possible way.
Mhm.
Like you've kept the youth, but you seasoned. You know what's what, and you're making shit happen. And I remember years ago, I heard it said like, oh, your 20s is where you figure out what you want to do with your life. Your 30s is where you make it happen. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. There's something huge about that that I think is really important. I don't know. It's just it's big. It's big.
Appreciate the
Um,
kind words. I'm trying my best. We'll see how it goes.
I really hope this app works out, dude. I really
Me
do.
too.
I think that there's a lot of potential here, and I think that the real battle, maybe that's not quite about the challenge is to see how it will be taken by the people and how people will react with it. You know,
Agree.
there's good signs. You got 100 people in one session. That's incredible, man. That's what it's
I
about.
thought so too. I was pumped. I was really excited about that.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, discussing everything about you and fan foresight and everything in between. Thank you so much for your time, Christian. Really, really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I really appreciate it. Let's do it again.
Would love to. And to all the listeners of the Christian Reeve podcast, make sure you go to patreon.com/Christian Reeve and get bonus content from this episode. I'll make sure there's links to Fan Foresight so you can check that out and see what's what. If you're a stateside, then you'll be able to see it 'cause we don't quite have it in the UK yet. But you never know in the future. You never know. Never know.
You never know.
Hell yeah, man. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being on
Yeah,
the
and
show.
we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. To
You
all
got
the
it.
listeners of the Christian Reeve podcast, as always, be safe, be well, and I'll see you in the next one.